Hi, my name is Daniel Rosado, and I want to start my speech with a simple question. Do you know what products are derivates of oil? While you are thinking, let me give you some clues. You haven't had breakfast yet, and you are probably already contributing to the deterioration of the environment. If what you put on is made of polyester, this is the most widely fiber for making clothing in the world. Like 70 million barrels of oil are used each year to make these clothes, and it will take more than 200 years to this decomposed, according to the experts. And that's not the only source of contamination, the rates of oil. They also exist par- they also exist in other products such as soap, car oil, candles, bottled water, paper or plastic cups, bubble gum. So imagine the magnitude of the contamination that we are living right now, today and every day since we discovered oil. My partner and I came here today to explain the side effects of our daily actions based on what we buy, what we consume, and how our laziness is affecting us today. We already know about the contamination and all the problems we have with palm oil, deforestation, agriculture of cows, but we are aware of the CO2 emissions that live between us. Let me tell you an example. When you start your car, you are thinking about a small fraction of pollution when performing this action. Now, let me tell you the numbers. According to the data from the European Environment Agency, a medium-sized gasoline car an, an average emits an average of 0.143 grams per meter. The population of car in Puebla is approximately 1.5 million. So, if we multiply 0.143 grams of CO2 per meter by the million of and a half of cars in Puebla, in only one day, only by starting your car, we have two, 215 kilograms of CO2 emissions. So imagine, in a week, we just have 1.5 tons of these CO2 emissions only by starting your car. So we need to reduce drastically the use of fossil fuel in all our activities. Maybe share our car, try to use it at the minimum or only in necessary situations, because this is affecting us in our health, in next generations, in nature, and who knows what else. So it depends on us. I'm going to show you some images so you can think about your daily actions. This is an image of the city of Beijing in China. They wore face masks long before the pandemic due to their little concern for the environment. Do you want this?
So we have a big example that is fashion industry, like the current one, which in general has developed an addiction to fast fashion textile matter because they are susceptible to being transformed into lasting garbage. When we think of industries that have damaging effect on the environment, manufacturing, energy, transportation, and even food come to mind. However, according to the UN Conference on Trade Development, the fashion industry is the second most polluting in the world. This industry produces more carbon emissions than all international maritime flights and shipments combined, which consequence for climate change and global warming. In Spain, the Varian Textile Recycling Association, called ACIRTEX, warned at the beginning of 2017 that each Spaniard on average purchased 34 garments at a year and threw up 14 kilos of clothing. In Australia, every 10 minutes, 6,000 kilos of clothes are collected that people throw away. As a solution that wide scope, it should be noted Gianology that thanks to the use of its technology, it has practically eliminated the use of water in the finishing of jeans, eliminates waste and dangerous emissions. Currently, more than 35% of the 5 billion jeans produced per year that has been in our lives for a long time and will continue in them. The industry of infrastructure and the use of fuel in it. This topic is of great importance, allowing great scientists and scholars of the subject to comment and do research about what is happening in the world and in certain countries. According to economists and scientists, the construction sector has a great influence in the economic and social activity of a country, such as jobs and growth rates, making the construction an industry essential industry for the advancement of civilizations. Society is stuck in rudimentary methods that not only do benefit the world but also destroys it, since there is an exploitation of more than 60% of natural resources and raw materials, including those derivates from oil for the construction of buildings and areas and urban areas. Well, we agree that the land of today are not the same as 100 years ago. This is due to the pollution that we cause and in every day with fertilizers, with garbage, with the amount of nutrients that we removed at the time that it meets the acid rain caused by the same meaning factories that emit nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxide, and or sulfur trioxide. This mix with the air and with the rain causes the acid rain that falls in all the the ground we live.
What do you think this place was before? This is a shot in the documentary Before the Flood, where they comment on how the oil companies, with some chemicals, release the oil of the sand. What used to be a forest was destroyed by the black gold.
To conclude this presentation, I'm going to show you a little of what pollution damages day by day in general. Air pollution levels remain dangerously high in many parts of the world. According to new data from the World Health Organization, the WHO, 9 out of 10 people breathe air with high levels of pollutants. Update its estimates shows that 7 million people die each year from ambient and domestic air pollution. It is an alarming number, and ambient air pollution alone causes approximately 4.2 million of deaths in 2016, while household air pollution caused by cooking, footwear with pollution, fuels, and technologies caused 3.8 million of deaths in the same period. More than the 90% of pollution related deaths occurring in low middle income countries, mainly in Asia, Africa, followed by low and middle income countries like in the Middle East Mediterranean region, Europe, and the Americas. The WHO database on ambient air quality currently lists more than 4,000 cities in 108 countries, making it the world's most comprehensive database on this issue. Since 2016, more than 1,000 additional cities have been added to this database, evidence that an unprecedented number of countries are measuring air pollution and taking action to reduce it. The change, I think, and my teammate thinks also, may not be based may not be easy, but the damage has already been done, and it is in such a large quantities that we need all the help possible. It is matter of generating a massive awareness so that people understand and the governments do not try to hide this problem, because that's a big problem. Just as there are history subjects in schools or maths or a lot of subjects um, that are considered elementary for our ground, there is a subject that focus on making children aware from very young age, so that these new generations can generate a significant change in our world, and thus be able to leave our children a better future.